Boom! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Saturday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a local brewery of mine. I've considered these guys one of the best breweries within the state to get a nice, good IPA from, and I think I've done a review for a couple of their beers before. But today we have one here from Old Irving Brewing Company called the Box Truck. It's a double dry hopped IPA coming at a 7% ABV, and it's brewed with Nectaron and Citra hops. So I've never had a beer with Nectaron hops before. I'm going to be straight up honest. I've never really heard of it either. I did some research on it. It's actually a very interesting hops. It's derived out of New Zealand that is used for... It's a specific aroma kind of hop, so it's very, very fruity when it comes to aromas. You get like hints of like pineapple, tropical fruit. They get some stone fruit notes in there, like peaches and all that kind of stuff in there. So having something that's going to be heavily fruity with the aroma, along with something with a hops like Citra, who brings in some great, nice tropical fruit, citrus, all that kind of stuff flavors with it. I'm expecting this to be a pretty well balanced when it comes to just fruity on the nose, along with fruity on the palate as well with this guy. So, and of course, having a nice sessionable IPA on a nice Saturday afternoon is always a plus. So, I believe this is actually a beer that I did in a giveaway before, on my Patreon. So I think one of my patrons actually was able to get his hands on this one and actually able to give it a drink. I think it was Lee, not the real Gerard Butler, who actually won this beer, if I remember correctly. I'll have to look back and look at it. But finally doing a review on it, and I'm pretty damn excited. Of course, you got the box truck, the Old Irving box truck just chilling there. It's kind of psychedelic looking. I like the blue colors to it. I like the wavy, orangish, like reminds me of some 70s kind of looks in there. But yeah, this one definitely caught my attention. Whenever I see something from Old Irving, I'm always at attention of like, let's see what the hell this is, because I've known that they make some fantastic IPAs over there. I don't really think I've tried any of the other styles. I know their namesake IPA is their Beezer, which they have the regular Beezer, and then they have the double Beezer, and then they have the triple Beezer, which are all fantastic IPAs. If you have the opportunity to get your hands on any of those three, I highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, with this box truck, I don't see it. I think this was like more of a limited release. I think this is something that they did this year. I don't know if they're going to redo it or not, or possibly change it up a bit. But this was an IPA that came out this year that I've heard good things about. And seeing it on tap, it has some pretty good ratings and stuff on this one. So let's crack this thing open, see what we get on the nose, and see what this thing's all about. So let's see what kind of aromas we're getting. Oh yeah, right off the bat, fruity AF. Expecting this to be a really, really juicy double dry hopped IPA. That's for damn sure. Of course, it's a New England IPA, which of course is my favorite style of IPA. Very fruity. Definitely getting some of that stone fruit coming through. Definitely getting like a hoppy bitterness coming through it as well. But they could have dry hopped it with Citra. I don't think they just used the Nectaron. Most likely, if they did with the dry hopping, they probably did minimal amounts of the Nectaron when it comes to the dry hopping part of it, and they used that for the beginning of the boil, your first word hop, all the kind of stuff like that. So where you're going to be getting mainly all of your aromas is at the beginning of the boil, and then towards the middle and end, that's where they're probably adding more of the Citra, kind of getting those fruitier, nice little hoppy notes in there. And then when it comes to the dry hopping, I can see the smallest amount of maybe Nectaron trying to get some of those tropical fruit flavors to come through, even though it's a more of aroma heavy hop. But I bet they just loaded this thing up with Citra hops on the dry hopping, especially when it comes to the double dry hopping in it as well. So yeah, this smells absolutely fantastic. Smells like it's going to be a juice bomb. So I'm going to be drinking this out of my Fizz Brewing Company glass this afternoon. Of course, I don't know if we're going to be getting these glasses back to be able to be for sale, but if we end up doing it, of course, I'm probably going to get a couple to do for giveaways and all that kind of stuff. If anybody wants the opportunity to pick up a Fizz Brewing Company glass, if they come available, I will let you guys know. And if you want to buy them or have the opportunity to win one, we'll go down that road when we get to it. So let's pour this thing and see what this thing's all about. Oh yeah, this is definitely a hazy boy. Nice little bit of head. Yeah, let's get a little bit more going in there. Give it a nice swirl, because any sediment, let's get that moving up in there. Let's try to pour a little bit more in there. Yeah, look at that. That just looks like a hazy juice bomb if I've ever seen one. Nice little bit of a head on there. Still getting a lot of citrus coming through on the aromas now. A little bit of tropical fruit. It's definitely more citrus heavy. Definitely has like an acidic bitterness on the nose as well, which I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think because each of these hops has a little bit of acidity, but you can kind of mellow that out with different water chems and all that. If you control the pH levels, it helps with notes of acidity as well. But yeah, I think smells pretty damn fantastic. So let's give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So cheers, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh yeah, nice hoppy bite up front. Very, very juicy, very pillowy, soft mouthfeel. This is like a instant juice bomb in your face. Very, very fruity. Nice. It definitely is really well balanced when it comes to the fruity aromas along with the fruity flavors coming through as well. So it's definitely balanced on both aspects, which is fantastic because you don't want something to be very fruity on the aroma, and then when it comes through having you taste and everything, you don't want to kind of get none of that fruitiness. Of course, you want to have that nice balance with it. You don't want it just to be all pine and all kinds of like bitter, kind of just not so pleasant hoppy flavors when it comes to the palate if you're having very, very strong fruit aromas coming from it. So they did an absolutely fantastic job of keeping this one balanced when it comes to the palate and with the aromas. So that's the first thing I'm noticing right off the bat of how perfectly balanced this beer is, and it's pretty damn fantastic. So let's look over here at Untappd, and of course, when it comes to trying to find a similar beer to this one, there's definitely a lot of beers that are considered just juice bombs. I mean, if you go on your local liquor store or bottle shop and just look for a New England Hazy IPA, nice little average percenter, probably going to be around a nice 6.5%, 7%. I think you're going to have something that's pretty damn similar to this one. The similar beers list for this one, I'm not the biggest fan of, just because lately, I don't know why, it's just been given me really shitty similar beers list for each beer I've been reviewing lately, but it's okay. But let's go to my beer history and we can try to pick something out through there that I've had before that might be similar. So of course, you could search your beer history, and we're going to look under the filter of IPA New England Hazy. So let's go IPA New England Hazy. 136 of those have been done, but let's see what we got here. So of course we got one here that I've done recently called it's Vaderade, which is from Street Side. That was a really, really fantastic juice bomb. I put this one in that kind of same realm. Of course you got this one from Unseen Creatures, The Child. Of course, Anchorage Brewing Company makes some really nice average drinking juicy hazy IPAs. Of course you got one here from Bree City, which is the Dope Nose. I like this name of this one from, if you're in Michigan, there's one from Three Blondes called I Just Took a DNA Test. DNA Test turns out I'm 100% that beer, which I think that one, if I remember correctly, that one's a little bit lighter on the flavors, but I think you'd still get that kind of juicy aspect of it. Of course, Pollyanna here in Illinois makes some really good stuff. Of course, they had one called the Ales for ALS. You got the Pie Assassin from Anchorage Brewing Company. The Fog Monster New England IPA from Rusty Rail would be something I'd recommend. Let's see. The Video Feedback from Moonraker is a good one. Pandemic Blues from Revision. Wordless Chorus from Best Hands Barrel House. The Almost Famous Torture and Crown is another good one. So there's definitely a lot of... your average New England Hazy IPA is going to be very, very easy to find. But, of course, the Weldworks Juicy Bits is going to be on here because that's like their namesake kind of juicy IPA. And I put this one up with that one any day of the week. They're both fantastic. So, of course, there's a bunch of selections when it comes to just trying to find a nice, juicy New England Hazy IPA out there. So you just kind of go to the liquor store, bottle shop. If you notice any of the ones that I mentioned on there are available near you, give it a shot. Or you could just kind of look at it. Of course, you can start to know what's going to be a nice, juicy, hazy IPA. Of course, they'll most likely have some kind of marketing that leans toward that. So you can always look at that. Of course, it all depends on the season as well. If you're in a warmer climate, you're going to start noticing there is always going to be more of like your juicy New England hazy IPAs available near you, just because it's a very, very popular style. Oh, I tried talking. I almost sneezed during talking. Whoa. But we're good now. So, with all that being said, let's see. The description of this guy is pretty simple, self-explanatory. It's brewed with Nectron and Citra hops, and it's a hazy IPA. And of course, here on Untapped, let's look at the ratings and all that stuff. So, 7% ABV. 100% consider this beer sessionable. This would be perfect beer for like an outdoor barbecue or something where it's a nice kind of warm day. You're sitting outside in the sun and just enjoying something that's juicy, refreshing, and just overall really, really fantastic. 22 IBUs, which there definitely isn't not a predominant hoppy bitterness. I mean, you get some of the bitterness from the hop notes on the aroma. I get that a little bit. But when it comes to the flavor and actually tasting it, it's not really too crazy when it comes to the hoppy bitterness. So, and with only 414 ratings, this one has an average rating of 4.05 out of 5, which is pretty damn fantastic. So, let's look here at my friends list and see if anybody on my friends list checked this one in. Of course, you got my father, because when I picked this up, I picked it up for my giveaway that I was doing on my Patreon. So, but I always make sure if I'm going to be giving away something, if I have the opportunity to review it, I'm always going to keep one off to the side for me to review it as well, just because if somebody wants to see what my thoughts are after I've sent it to them, the option will be there. And I don't think my dad got it right when it comes to the purchase location, because I don't think I picked this one up at Mike's Wine and Spirits. I think I picked this one up at there's another liquor store a couple minutes down the road from this place that I picked this one up at. So I don't think this was where I grabbed that one, but Mike's is always a really good selection. I would not be surprised if they had this beer at Mike's at one point in time. But let's see here, and he gave it only a 3.5, which is definitely interesting. I think when it comes to IPAs, me and my dad kind of like some different things. He likes more like the floral, kind of stronger kind of IPAs. A lot of the times I see him lean towards more of your West Coast IPAs that he really enjoys, more of those like piney kind of forward ones, having a little bit more of a drier mouthfeel. He really enjoys those, but when it comes to the juicier IPAs, that kind of thing definitely leans more towards on me. So I can understand why he only gave this a 3.5. I'm definitely going to be giving it higher than that on my rating for sure. But let's look here at the global ratings and see what other people had to say about this guy as well. So what we got here, we got this guy checked in, give it a 3.75. We got a 4 out of 5 here. We got another 4 out of 5 purchased at the Beer and Now, which is a beer bar / liquor store in Lisle, Illinois. So this might still be available over there. Let's see. This guy picked it up at a place called the Iron and Glass in Romeoville, Illinois. And what he said about this guy was solid juice bomb with some dankness on the side. Yeah, I can definitely see the dankness coming in. If I think of dankness, hoppy dankness, for me, drinking this beer, I'm getting it more on those lingering flavors that stick on. So that dank hoppiness that slightly is there is more on the like after you've had a couple sips and that lingering flavor is on your tongue and on the palate and everything like that. That's the only thing for me where I get the dankness from it. Let's see, 3.75. We got a 4. We got another 4 here. Somebody said just fruity, which they not a problem with me. Let's see, we got a 3.25 here. We got a 3.75 saying too much peach, when I don't really think peach is the predominant flavor in this one at all. So maybe he's just really sensitive to peach. Let's see, we got a 3.5. This person gave it a 3.25. Purchased at the Town Aramanti Beverage Mart, which is in Chicago, Illinois. And what he said is brighter, lighter IPA. Nice. And so he may still think it's a pretty solid one. A 3.25 is not a terrible rating. What else? Let's do 3 more. We got another 4 out of 5. Of course, we got a 4.25 here, purchased at the Iron and Glass. And the last one we got here is a 3.75 out of 5. So, yeah, pretty decent ratings overall, I would say, about this one. Some good amount of 4s, good amount of 3.75. So, overall, I would say this is a pretty solid average rating beer that's available. Well, I don't know if it's available right now, but that Old Irving came out with. So, other than that, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on our end with this guy. So, let me pour the rest of it into the glass. Not much left. And, of course, the first thing we're going to look at here is can art. Since how I described before, this is a very bright, juicy, citrusy, tropical fruity IPA. You want some nice, bright, vibrant colors that are going to kind of pull you in. Of course, anything that has bright colors is always going to be catching to the eye. So I see the bright oranges on there. I really like what they did with the box truck, having like that kind of graffiti look on the side. Kind of just reminds you of Chicago in general. Of course, they got the Old Irving logo on the side right there. It's kind of blurry, but you can't see it. But Yeah, I think the bright colors of this one is very eye-catching because when you see orange and blue, it's automatically going to pull your eyes to it. So there's enough detail on here. I really am a big fan of the Old Irving logo, the OIB on there. So whenever you see an OIB on anything, it's going to be an Old Irving beer. I love the font for this beer specifically, and of course keeping that Chicago theme and everything like that. You got the stars, which is usually on the Chicago flag. So overall, when it comes to taking up the real estate they had available on this one, they nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Took up almost everything they could possibly do when it comes just making the truck on the label big enough, having enough spots that are blank to show the swirl, I think is really, really nice. So overall, I can't really fault this thing for marketing just because I think that this beer was marketed really well. Would this be something that is like crazy eye-catching to my what I usually go for? Yeah, I would say it would. There's definitely enough detail in there because I really like detail when it comes to my can arts. So, I think for a final rating, I'll give this one a very solid 4 out of 5 for can art. Really nice. So let's see here. If I went over to Old Irving Brewing Company right now, and I got this beer in a flight, would I get another one? Abso-freaking-lutely. This is like I tell you guys, this is what I kind of aim for when it comes to what I'm looking for a nice, juicy, hazy IPA. So Old Irving knocked it out of the park with this one. Absolutely fantastic. Like I said, if I have the opportunity to pick up a 4-pack to bring it to like a barbecue or anything like that, this would be 100% the perfect beer for that. It's sessionable, it's juicy, it's refreshing. Overall, perfect barbecue IPA for sure. So let's see here. With all that being said, what is my final rating on this guy going to be? I'm going to give this one a very, very solid 8 out of 10. Leaning between like the 8 to 8.25 out of 10 range. I think I'm going to keep it closer to just the 8 out of 10. But overall, really, really fantastic. If you have the opportunity to pick this one up, if you want to try a nice, juicy, hazy IPA, this is definitely one I would put on the list of ones that I would recommend to try. And just, if it becomes available near you or you see anything to where, if this is in a liquor store or bottle shop where you have the opportunity to buy it, I would definitely recommend it. If this is definitely, I would say, more of a warmer weather kind of release, so you might need to wait a little bit longer to get this one, a fresh batch of it coming through. But overall, yeah, I think Old Irving absolutely knocked it out of the park with this beer. So fantastic job from the team over there. They're doing some great things. And other than that, let's see here. Yeah, 8 out of 10 I think is where I'm going to leave it with this one. Really, really solid. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live, do another review. I got a review planned for you guys for tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. But when it comes to the beginning of the week next week, I'll most likely not have any available just because I'll be at work doing some stuff over there. So if any reviews, it's probably going to be coming towards the end of next week, so keep an eye out for those. But of course, if you want to follow me on all of what I'm doing around social media and all that kind of stuff, you got my Instagram. You can shoot me a follow over there. Of course, that'll be the first place you'll see what I'm going to be reviewing that day. And then, of course, you'll see behind the scenes stuff I'm doing over at the brewery every once in a while. So if you want to take advantage of see all that, shoot me a follow over there. Of course, I did a poll on YouTube yesterday. How many of my subscribers are on Untapped? I had like 3 or 4 people respond to 100% yes. So that's awesome. I just wish YouTube showed you who responded. So, and if somebody hasn't responded, if you're a subscriber, check out that little poll I did. I want to see how many of my subscribers are on Untapped. So if there's any more people that I need to add, I need to figure that out. But of course, you can always shoot me a friend request on Untapped as well. You guys hear me talk about Untapped all the time. It's a fantastic platform. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers. It's you check in beers, you get badges, all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really fun. So if you have the opportunity to get on there, I'd highly recommend it. And if you haven't shot me a friend request yet on there, link to my profile is down in the description below as well. And last of all, of course, I always recommend the best way to, if you want to help support me besides watching my videos, to get yourself over to the Patreon. I have a small group of people over there, but they're really helpful and they're great people. So, and I do monthly 4-pack giveaways of Illinois exclusive craft beers, so you have the opportunity to win yourself some beer over there. And plus, down the road, I'll be doing some more different giveaways with different content creators, maybe different breweries down the road. But also, I'm also planning on possibly doing a Discord for craft beer content like that. course, working on eventually down the road getting merch, glassware, coasters, koozies, you name it. I want to try to do it. And maybe eventually I'll get to face meet requests with doing an actual What's Happening beer helmet. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. But if you want to take advantage of that, if you want to help me keep on doing what I'm doing, the Patreon is going to be the best way to do so. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today, this afternoon. So thank you, everybody in chat, again, for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody who's going to be watching on the replay as well. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.